by failing to hold Saudi Arabia to account, by failing to even attempt to punish Saudi Arabia for its killing of Mr. Jamal Khashoggi. The international community is sending just this message, that state with sufficient power can get away with murdering a journalist.
Well, Khalil Jahshan is the executive director of the Arab Center, a research institute based in Washington, and let's speak to him now. Good to have you on the program. How big has the American influence been on Saudi Arabia and on this case in particular?
Very big, actually. The relationship, even though it has never necessarily been elevated to a serious strategic level as desired by people on both sides of the Atlantic, but it has been a special relationship, and there has been always a lot of influence by Washington on events and developments and positions and policies in Riyadh, based on that unique relationship between the two countries. In this case, that relationship, in a way, played a very negative role. As a matter of fact, it has contributed to the injustice that we have witnessed since this crime was committed against Jamal Khashoggi.
So is the U.S. policy towards Saudi Arabia to just look the other way and let the kingdom do whatever it wants to, literally get away with murder?
In this case, under the leadership of Donald Trump, it was exactly that case. As a matter of fact, it was a lot worse than what was described as an attempt to kind of suppress, if you will, the truth. In the sense that Trump, by attempting to whitewash this state-ordered extrajudicial assassination, has made himself an accessory to the crime. So regardless of what he did or does, the same way as in Saudi Arabia, there is no way you could whitewash this crime. Even if it lasts 100 years without justice, the questions will remain until they are answered honestly and justice is met.
Mm-hmm. The Crown Prince clearly has an ally in President Trump, but with the election now just about a month away, if Trump loses and Joe Biden wins the election, do you think we'll see a harder stance from America toward Saudi Arabia?
Up to a certain degree. I mean, there are certain constants within the relationship between the two countries that pertain to national security. But in this case, I think the Democrats in general are a lot more sensitive to the issue of abuse of human rights, definitely including Mr. Biden. He has served in Congress for so many years and has had a record of criticizing when needed some irregularities, if you will, or wrong decisions made by key allies, including Saudi Arabia. So should he become the president on November 3rd, I would say the relationship will be reassessed, and this crime will not continue to be suppressed by a Biden administration the way we have witnessed with Mr. Trump.
What about other countries and governments? I mean, in the days and weeks after Khashoggi was murdered, we did see a number of world leaders come out and criticize the Crown Prince, but that's kind of fallen away, and we don't really see any pressure anymore against Saudi Arabia. Why is that?
I wouldn't say it's because of skillful handling by the Saudi government. As a matter of fact, they committed all kinds of blunders, PR-wise, moral-wise, legal-wise, and so on, which left the case against them wide open. But what dictated this lukewarm reaction on the part of so many countries is essentially the oil wealth of Saudi Arabia and the dependence of so many countries on that oil. So they preferred not to rock the boat and somehow make this case such a political issue as to damage the financial relationship and the investments from Saudi Arabia or their own investments in Saudi Arabia.
We have the G20 summit coming up in Saudi Arabia later in November. Do you think that this has at all damaged how Saudi Arabia is viewed by the international community?
I think so, even though, of course, the Saudis do not admit that. I mean, denial has been the name of the game as far as Riyadh's handling of this case from day one. So that is continuing. I think, regardless of the fact that whether the summit would take place or not under the chairmanship of the Saudi government, the atmosphere will never be the same. There is apprehension in the leadership there, and definitely there are some fingers of accusations being pointed at the Crown Prince, whether he likes it or not, because all the steps that have been taken, political, PR, or legal, have not resolved the case and have not answered these legitimate international questions.
All right, Khalil Jahshan joining us from Washington. Thank you so much.